I will teach you any rock and roll song you want to learn how to play, but first you need to learn the blues root of that song. And so I learned how to play guitar by learning the blues. So in order for me to get to where I wanted to go, I had learned Chuck Berry, Muddy Waters, Willie Dixon, B.B. King, in order to be able to learn Jimmy Page, Keith Richards, Joe Perry, and Slash, to understand the bedrock of what this music is built on. And in doing so also, I learned stories from Black America that I would not have learned otherwise. It opened my eyes to a world that was so different from my experience. I went to Eastern Illinois University as a music major. Got out of that pretty quickly because I realized that there is a difference between a musician and someone who plays an instrument. And I play an instrument. I've played now for more than 25 years, and I think I'm fairly good at it, but being a musician is a different level. But it has taken me on journeys along the way. You can see me playing with a very, very good friend of mine, Pecha. That's me in my parents' garage for a party. That top one is for an RA program when I was an undergraduate student in Thomas Hall. So it has been something that I've always carried with me. Now, there's been unfortunate twists along the way as well. This is something that you can't unsee at this point. You've seen it. It's in there. Next time you deal with your dean of students, that's who you're dealing with. This is the reality. And he still lives right here. But how this all came together for me was, I see this as the bedrock that laid the way for me to become a diversity educator because I learned the power of stories. And there were so many learnings that I took along the way that I want to touch on for the rest of this talk. The first learning is Western Avenue doesn't divide everyone. I'm from the south side of Chicago. Western Avenue is the dividing line where I grew up. On my side growing up it's white, on the other side it's black. And it is that clearly defined. And if you don't think so, I would encourage you to visit. We go to our churches, our schools on our side, and people on the other side go to theirs. And learning the story of Slash growing up, of what it meant to be a biracial individual in this country, was something that blew my mind, because again, it was so different from the experience I had growing up. And the first publication that I ever had in a book was about bi and multiracial college students. And the reason why was, really laying the groundwork because of this, story that I learned growing up. The second takeaway I had was words hurt. There was a song on a GNR album back in the day that had the N-word in it. And I remember reading interviews from Slash growing up and him talking about the hurt that was in place for having to play that song. How having to stand on a stage while that song is being played. And I remember thinking, God, how much awful that must be to have to go through that experience as a really empathetic learning. I also learned that people only know what they know, and hearing from the songwriter when he talked about the song, that he wrote the song from the perspective of a white kid growing up in Lafayette, Indiana, and then moving out to LA when he was 18. And he talked about that not being a perspective that he shares anymore, but that was where he was at that time. And I think about our students, and they only know what they know. They only know for the story that they have been brought in thus far. And the day that we believe that they are beyond growth or change is the day we need to get out of education. We have a privilege in knowing what we know. And that's why I think the power of stories is so profound for me. As I said as part of the intro, I believe very strongly behind every face of the story. I believe that the stories are the secret reservoir of our values. Change the stories individuals and nations live by, and you change the individuals and nations. And that's why music for me has been so profound, and be able to make those connections with students. I've loved the opportunity to be able to connect with students, whether it is for the Summer Outdoor Adventure Program and being able to share with students there, whether it's a class that I partnered with for 17 quarters when I was at DePaul University to talk to students about music, or whether it was Empty Bowls last week. It has been countless ways I've been able to connect with students through the love of music. But the most unexpected thing for me has been the connection with my kids. And it was a long journey for us to become parents. And being able to share this with my children now is something that I never would have imagined. The first song my kids ever asked me to play was the Go 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 song, which is Johnny Be Good. The second song they ever asked me to play is the Whoa Whoa song, which is of course Sweet Child of Mine. They are expanding their stories. They are also expanding my story. They're continuing to have me look at music in a different way. And that's not only because of the amount of Taylor Swift songs they make me learn. Thank you all so very much.